Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 10th July 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see the quote. So actually I am outside because of some inconvenience and sounds. I am going to record my video in the car. Okay, so please adjust for this day. Okay, so first let us try to see the quote. The quote here is, if the plan doesn't work, change the plan but never the goal. So this quote which is very much apt for UPSC aspirants, because many a times we will be coming with number of strategies. Sometimes those strategies may work and sometimes those strategies may not work. So at that time, so try to find out the right strategy but not your goal. Okay, so now let us try to see the first topic. So this topic is about CATSA. So I think you might know about this CATSA. So if you are following the current affairs from last 2 years or 1.5 year or 1 year, then you will be knowing about this CATSA. So this CATSA, it is nothing but Countering American Adversaries Through Sanction Act. So from this topic, what you have to know? So you have to know about what is this CATSA. So why US came up with this CATSA, and what is the implication of this CATSA at this present scenario, and why India, which is mainly fearing because of this CATSA regarding this S-400 missile system. So these are the all dimensions that you need to know. So this topic is important from your GS paper to under international relations. So now let us try to see context. Actually I collected this topic from Indian Express. So if you see context, it mainly says that on July 7th, US Democratic Representative, he said the US government must not impose sanctions on India under this CATSA, that is Countering American Adversaries Through Sanction Act, for its purchase of S-400 missile weapon system from Russia. So actually India mainly signed deal to get this S-400 missile system, and this system we are going to get from this Russia. So as you all know, Russia, it is very important for India, because we are going to get advanced technology from the Russia, especially for the defense sector. So whenever we are getting this type of advanced technology from this Russia, so India, which is mainly having fear regarding this CATSA. So what is this CATSA? That is Countering of American Adversaries Through Sanction Act. So why we are having fear regarding this CATSA? So if you are talking about fear regarding this CATSA, so actually here US, if any other country which is mainly going and buying some equipment from the countries which are rival to this USA, so here the countries which are mainly purchasing any equipment from this rivalries, then here US which mainly imposes CATSA. So now let us try to understand this CATSA in detail, don't worry about that. So if you are talking about details, it mainly says that, so now here Biden administration, that is US government, which has not yet issued a clear statement. So till now there is no clear statement which mainly issued by US government administration. So on whether India might be subjected to sanctions under CATSA, and even as India began receiving the weapons from Russia in late 2021. So since 2021 onwards, we are getting some equipment from Russia, but from US government side there is no clarity yet. There is no clarity regarding whether India might be subjected for the implication, or whether US, which is mainly going to apply this CATSA on India or not. So there is no proper conclusion from US side. So CATSA, it is a law that come into effect in USA in 2017. So CATSA came up by USA in year 2017. So why this CATSA which mainly came up by USA? So CATSA, which is mainly used as a weapon by USA, it is mainly going to use this CATSA to punish the countries which are having deep engagements with Russia, North Korea and Iran. For example, if you are talking about Iran, so if you are talking about North Korea, and if you are talking about Russia, so from Iran we used to get crude oil earlier. So because of the fear of CATSA, so the imports of crude oil from the Iran, that mainly made zero by India. And from Russia, it is one of the important defense partner of India, and we are going to get much technology, defense equipment from Russia. So here we are having one fear that if we are getting weapons from this Russia, especially now we are going to have this S-400 equipment, okay, S-400 missile system from this Russia. So we are having a dilemma that India, which is mainly attracted under this CAATSA or not. So it mainly said that countries having a significant transaction with Russian intelligence and military agents, they will be subjected to at least 5 kinds of sanctions. So under this CAATSA, if at all any country which is having the transactions or the significant transactions with these 3 countries, your Russia, North Korea and Iran, then what happens, those countries, they will going to subject to this CAATSA. They will be getting 5 sanctions under this CAATSA. So this is some important basic background. And if you're talking about why USA enacted this law, that is Countering American Adversaries Through Sanction Act. So what is the implication? So here US, which mainly had some issues with Russia and Russia's alleged interference in 2016. So there is one allegation that in US presidential elections, here Russia which is mainly involved. Okay, so here US which mainly flagged issues of Russia alleged interference in 2016 presidential elections. And also there is some concern regarding role of Syrian war as some of the reasons for punishing the engagement with it. Okay, so here regarding this role which is mainly played by Russia in Syrian war and even Russia's interference in this presidential elections of 2016. So because of this, here USA which mainly want to punish this Russia. And if India which mainly purchases this S-400 Triumph missile system, so which have advanced capabilities. So why we are going for opting for this S-400 Triumph missile system? So it having some advanced capabilities and it can also judge the distance from the target and launch surface to air missile attack. So because of all these reasons, we are mainly going for getting or purchasing of this S-400 Triumph missile system. But however, the application of this CAATSA is not limited to this S-400. But even if you are going for any joint ventures regarding manufacturing or developing of any weapons in future, so that can also attract this CAATSA. So this is about this topic in detail and I hope you understand this topic. And now let us move on to next topic. So title says the forest and landscape restoration mechanism. So this topic is very important because we are going to understand so what is the role of forest and what is the importance of this land restoration, how it will helpful to fight against climate change. So these are some important dimensions that we need to know. So this topic is important from your GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. So now let us try to see the context. So if you see context, it mainly says that recently Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, they mainly came up with organizing this Hariyali Mahotsav. So in yesterday's lecture we studied about Van Mahotsav. Okay, Van Mahotsav in our yesterday's lecture. So that article I collected from Hindu yesterday in the editorial session. And now this article says about this Hariyali Mahotsav. So there are high chances of getting question regarding this Hariyali Mahotsav. So you can get a question like, so recently this Hariyali Mahotsav is seen in news, so what it is related to. So in this way also you can expect the question in your prelims. And even you can get a question like write a note on significance of this Hariyali Mahotsav in your mains. So please don't take any choice. So try to see this topic as well. So this topic it is talking about this Hariyali Mahotsav. So first let us try to understand what is the meaning of this Hariyali Mahotsav. So Hariyali Mahotsav, which is mainly organized to create awareness. So it is mainly focusing on creating awareness about importance of trees and green cover, and we are mainly focusing on protecting our environment against air pollution and global warming. Okay, so Van Mahotsav we are mainly focusing on restoration of forest. We are going for afforestation of forest. Okay, afforestation, and we are going for planting of different trees. So here this Hariyali Mahotsav, which is mainly focusing on creating awareness. So there is a lot of difference between this Van Mahotsav and as well as Hariyali Mahotsav. So this Hariyali Mahotsav which mainly focusing on creating awareness about importance of trees and importance of green cover, and how this green cover which mainly helpful for protecting of our environment against air pollution and as well as global warming. So because nowadays we are mainly facing one important problem, that is global warming and as well as pollution. So because of this global warming, we are mainly seeing evident, okay, we are mainly seeing many catastrophes that are happening. So recent Amarnath flash floods is also one of the important thing, and even we can talk about melting of glaciers. So in today's paper, which mainly talked about one article regarding melting of glaciers, okay, and even sea level rise. So there are many much impact that mainly seen. So if you are talking about details regarding the status of forest restoration in India, so according to this IUCN, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature, okay, according to this IUCN, so deforestation, forest degradation, they contribute about 12% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, so according to IUCN, which mainly says that deforestation and forest degradation, they contribute about 12% of global greenhouse gas emissions, and about 30% of forest land is degraded in India. So in India, 30% of forest land which has been degraded. So either it may be because of wildfires. So we are seeing a lot of examples of wildfires which are mainly happening in India. So apart that wildfires, we are seeing some areas which are mainly experiencing extreme drought. There is no proper rainfall, and even we are seeing shifting cultivation, which is much evident till now in some areas in our country. So these are some important reasons for the contribution of this degradation of our forest land. So how much amount of forest land has been degraded in India? That is about 30%. So 30% of the forest land is degraded in India. So the total area which mainly occupied by primary forest in India is decreased by 3.6%. Okay. So 3.6% of this primary forest in India which had been decreased. And if you are talking about why, what is the need now? So what is the way forward? So what are the urgent steps that we can take? So we can take some urgent steps, especially for the restoration of our forest. So first one here is we need to go for forest landscape restoration. So what is the meaning of this forest landscape restoration? So it is nothing but we need to regain our ecological functionality, and we need to improve human welfare across the deforested and even degraded forest landscapes. Okay, so here we need to focus on ecological functionality, and as well as we need to focus on improving of human welfare across deforested or degraded forest landscapes. And here, to ensure there is a forest landscape restoration, means we need to involve communities, we need to involve champions, we need to involve government, okay, as well as forest dependent people who are much vulnerable, and even landowners in the process of designing and executing mutually advantageous interventions. So whenever we are going for this forest restoration, yes, we need to involve different stakeholders like communities, champions, government, and even vulnerable dependent people, landowners, they need to be involved. And we need to ensure proper diversity of species of plants. So as you are taking a forest as an example, so this forest will not contain only one specific species of tree, right? So we will be having number of trees, large variety of trees. We will be having different fauna, different flora will be there, right? And if you're talking about fauna, so we'll be having different food bearing trees, and as well as different flower bearing trees, and some trees they will be height, and some trees we will be having shrubs like that. So we will be having wide diversity of species. So while planting of plants also, we need to take care that we are going for restoration by using different or diversity of plants. So whenever we are taking diverse native trees, then that will be more efficient in sequestering carbon, and as well as it will be very helpful for the maintaining of diversity, biodiversity as well. And if you are comparing with the monoculture tree plantations, here multiculture or diverse native trees will be having more advantages. And in this way we can also promote sustainable forest crops, and even it reduces food insecurity, and even it empowers the women, allowing them to gain access to more nutritional diets, and will also helpful to getting new income streams as well. So this is about the way forward. And if you're talking about especially what are the steps which are taken by India, so I am going to talk about India's specific steps. So first and the foremost thing here is your program which mainly includes CAMPA, that is compensatory afforestation. It also includes like National Afforestation Program and even National Mission for Green India, that is Green India Mission, and even Nagar One scheme and forest fire prevention and management schemes. So these are some important programs which are mainly included. And next one is we also came up with this green skill development program for youth, and it will be very much helpful to aspire and to attain employment in the environment and as well as forest sectors. And if you're talking about state governments, so Telangana state government which has initiated large scale tree planting program, and this program is called as Telanganaku Haritavaram, Haritaharam. So they are mainly using this drones, and even especially in the afforestation in the urban areas, Telangana government which is mainly following this Miyawaki cultivation method. So now let us try to write one answer for this mains question, that is forest restoration is one of the key elements of climate mitigation strategies. In this context, examine the measures taken in restoring degraded land or degraded forest landscape in India. So I discussed about this topic in detail. So try to write answer, and answer should not be more than 150 words. And now let us try to see one prelims question. So this question which appeared in 2021 prelims, UPSC prelims. With reference to New York Declaration on Forest, which of the following statements are correct? Okay, so first one is it was first endorsed at United Nations Climate Summit in 2014. Second statement is it endorses a global timeline to end the loss of forest. It is a legally binding international declaration. It is endorsed by governments, big companies and indigenous communities. India was one of the signatories of this inception. So if you see the answer for this question, so it is not a legally binding international declaration. So you can eliminate this third statement. And next one is India was one of the signatories. India is not a signatory at this inception. So this is also incorrect. So correct option is A, 1, 2 and 4. So we are talking about next article. Title says next generation cancer therapy can kill tumors without harming healthy cells. So this article which is mainly talking about science and technology. Here we are mainly talking about new generation cancer therapy. So what is this cancer? So cancer means nothing but if you take this as a cell, so cell will go for normally cell division. But here in this cell division, whenever there is uncontrolled cell division is happening, so there is a rapid cell division which is mainly happening and is mainly forming a group of cells together, that is called as a tumor. And if you are talking about tumor, we will be having two types of tumors, that is benign tumor and as well as malignant tumor. Benign tumor and as well as malignant tumor. So we are talking about this benign tumor. So if you are taking the cells which are present, the group of cells, so they will be present only one place. They are not going to move here and there. So we can easily identify them. But in case of this malignant tumor, so they will be moving from one place to another place. So it is very difficult for mainly tracing. So this malignant tumor, so it is a nothing but it is called as cancer. Malignant tumor is called as cancer. So if we are talking about types of cancer, so we can see different types of cancer. For example, blood cancer, breast cancer, cervical cancer. So in women, so most of the women, they will be suffering from this breast cancer and as well as cervical cancer. And in males, they are mainly going to face, especially who are chewing this tobacco, they will be getting this mouth cancer, buccal cancer, and also they will be also very much highly prone to this prostate cancer as well. So these are different types of cancer. And if you are talking about treatment of this cancer, yes, there is no permanent cure for this cancer. We can go for chemotherapy, but most of the times here it is not a permanent solution. So if we are talking about context, it mainly says that recently here the human trial of a cancer killing viruses which mainly started. So we are mainly using these viruses and these viruses which are mainly going to kill this cancer, and now recently human trial which mainly started regarding this therapy. So if we are talking about details, it mainly says that oncolytic virus So onco means nothing but cancer, lytic means breaking. So lysis, wherever you will see, that is called as breaking. Okay, oncolytic virus, that means cancer breaking viruses. They are a form of immunotherapy that uses virus to infect, destroy cancer cells in oncolytic virotherapy, and they can kill cancer cells but leaves nearby healthy cells intact. So here this virus that we are going to use in this therapy, so it is mainly going to kill these cancer cells. So how they are working? So you will be having a doubt like how they are working. So here these are the modified viruses. They will enter the cells and they will duplicate. And after that, infected cell which mainly burst, releasing the thousands of new viruses particles. And they act as antigens, and it stimulates the immune system to attack the nearby cancer cells. So as you all know, whenever virus which is mainly entering into our body, so that is mainly recognized by our immune system, and this is our antigen. Okay, virus which is mainly entering, that is called as antigen. So after once this virus which is mainly entering into the cell, yes, it will start its work and it will start the doubling, okay, duplicating. So after duplicating, so after once enough number of viruses that mainly formed, that cell will be burst. And after bursting of that cell, here more number of this viruses or virus particle, they will be released. So after this more number of these virus particles are released, yes, our immune system will get activated and they will release antibodies. Okay, so in this way antibodies, they are going to fight with this cancer cells. So this is the image of that oncolytic virus. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding 20 red pandas to make a home in the forest. So this article which is mainly talking about is red panda. So this topic is important from your GS paper 3 under your environment and ecology. And now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that, so the Singalia National Park, which is the highest protected area in West Bengal. So here this Singalia National Park is located in West Bengal. So every year before 2018, so there used to be one question regarding the national park and which state it is located. So here you can get a question like Singalia National Park is seen in news, so where it is located, and you will be getting options like West Bengal, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, like that. And the demand of the question will be to identify which state. So this Singalia National Park, which is mainly located in this West Bengal. So here this national park, which is mainly going to get here this red pandas. And if you are talking about details, it mainly says that, so in the first rewilding program of red pandas, the scientific name here is Ailurus fulgens in India. So the Padmaja Naidu Himalayan Zoological Park will release 20 of these furry endangered mammals in about 5 years to the forest. So because of this is in news. And if you are talking about this number of red pandas, so number of red pandas which has been declining in the world. So the number of these red pandas which has been declining in the world, in the wild, and even in this Singalila and as well as the Neora Valley National Park, the two protected areas where the mammals is found in the wild in the West Bengal. And recent study which said that there are about 38 of these red pandas which are located in this Singalila and as well as 32 in this Neora. So actually these red pandas, they are categorized as endangered species. Okay, endangered species, and these red pandas, they are shy, they are solitary and as well as arboreal. Arboreal animals means nothing but these animals which mainly lives on the trees. And this is the image of this red panda. I hope you can see this image on the screen. So we are talking about some facts regarding this red panda. So this red panda, which is a small reddish brown arboreal mammal, and it mainly lives with the genus name that is Ailurus, and it is also the state animal of Sikkim. So this is one of the important prelims fact, and it is also listed as endangered in this IUCN Red List of threatened species under the Schedule 1 of Indian Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. And actually it is mainly found in the forest of India, Nepal, Bhutan and northern mountains of Myanmar and southern China. So these are some important things that you have to remember. And now let us try to see one more topic, that is regarding tribal women in MP dies of burns. So actually recently one issue which mainly happened okay, in Madhya Pradesh. That so one tribal woman, okay, one tribal woman, she got some parcel of land under this government scheme, and because of that she mainly recently went into the dispute. And in this dispute, here the alleged people, they mainly pour the diesel on this woman and they set a fire on this woman. And as soon as this news which is mainly known, she mainly taken to hospital, nearby district hospital. But now recently on Friday, so this tribal woman which mainly lost her life. So here this article which is also important from your ethics point of view, which mainly comes in the GS paper 4. So I want to ask you one question. So what is your opinion? So whether it is a correct act or not. So instead of this act, which act should be done? Okay, so this is the thing that you have to think about it. So if you are a district magistrate of that so and so district, so if this is the thing which may happen in your state, means as a district collector, so what are the steps that you are going to take? So these are the some important dimensions that you need to think about, and you have to let me know your opinion as well. Okay, so each and everyone who are watching this video, they have to give their opinion in comment box, because as a future bureaucrat, you have to take this stand on this situation for sure. So I hope and I request all of my viewers to please comment regarding what are the steps that can be taken and what is your stand if you are a district collector of that so and so area. So let me know your opinion. So the best opinion, the students who are giving their best opinion, and their name will be announced in the tomorrow's lecture for sure. Okay, so please try to give your comments in the comment box. And this topic will be important from your ethics, which mainly comes in the GS paper 4, and even it will be important from our society point of view, because these tribal people, they are also form under our society. And if you are talking about context, it mainly says that, so the name of that tribal woman is Rampyari Bai. Okay, she is 45 years old tribal woman, and she mainly allegedly set ablaze over a land dispute in Madhya Pradesh, and she died finally. So if you see some details, it mainly says that Rampyari, who belonged to the Saharia tribe. So you have to know the different tribal people who present in this Madhya Pradesh, and the students who are from this Madhya Pradesh, they have to know for sure so tribal population in your state and which tribes are particularly vulnerable tribal groups in Madhya Pradesh. So let me know this answer for this question in the comment box. So if you're talking about this Rampyari, she mainly belonged to this Saharia tribe, and that has been categorized as a particularly vulnerable tribal group, and she suffered 80% of burns on her body. So if we're talking about facts regarding the Saharia tribe, so Sahar or Saharia, they are ethnic group in the state of Madhya Pradesh, and even they mainly seen in some districts of Rajasthan as well, and they comes under this particularly vulnerable tribal groups. And the Saharia community considers every adult member part of governing council. So it is one of the important thing that you have to remember. And the Saharias, they are experts in the woodsmen and as well as forest product gatherers, and they are very much famous for this Ketaju. Ketaju is nothing but this product which mainly made from this acacia gum. And if we are talking about some facts regarding this PVTGs, that is particularly vulnerable tribal groups. So here this particularly vulnerable tribal group people, they are more vulnerable among the tribal groups. In 1973, the Debar Commission, which mainly created this primitive tribal groups as a separate category. So if you are talking about separate category for this primitive tribal groups, it mainly came up by this Debar Commission. And if you are anthropology student and in paper 2, you will be coming across this Debar Commission name, okay, names, okay, so that you have to remember this. So in 2006, here the government of India, which mainly renamed this primitive tribal groups to PVTGs. And if you want to make any tribe to be listed under this PVTGs, they have to satisfy some criteria. So which is that criteria? First one is there must be homogeneous with a small population, and next one here is they should be relatively physically isolated from the mainstream society, and there is absence of written language, and relatively simple technology they are mainly using, and there is a slower rate of change in their societies. Then only those type people, they are mainly comes under this PVTGs, particularly vulnerable tribal groups. And now let us try to see one prelims question based on this topic. So consider the following statements regarding this PBTGs in India. So first statement here is PBTGs resides in 18 states and union territories, one union territory. Next one is stagnant or declining population is the one of the criteria for determining this PBTG status. And there are 95 PBTGs officially noted in the country so far. Next one is irregular and Konda Reddy tribes. They are mainly included as a list under this particularly vulnerable tribal groups. So actually this question which appeared in this 2019 UPSC prelims, and let me know the answer for this question for sure. Okay, and now let us try to see next topic. Title says North Zonal Council discusses security. So in your polity, so you will be having this chapter that is zonal councils. So whenever anything that you can see in your syllabus, which is see the news means, you have to know that. And it is your responsibility as a UPSC aspirant, you have to know that. So here this title says that North Zonal Council discusses security. So this topic is important from our polity point of view, which mainly comes in a GS paper too. So here the context which mainly says that North Zonal Council deliberated on issues of internal security. They may talk about internal security, road, transport, industries, water, power, cybercrime and other subjects of common interest for 8 northern states and union territories. Okay, so for 8 northern states and as well as union territories, they came up with this 30th meeting, and this 30th meeting they mainly focused on some issues like internal security issues, road, transport, industries, water, power, cybercrime, etc. And if you are talking about details, it mainly says that Union Home Minister Amit Shah, who heads the council. So for this zonal council, who will be the head? That is Home Minister. And even chief ministers of states and as well as governors, okay, lieutenant governors of this union territories, they mainly highlighted about the mutual cooperation, mutual coordination and spirit of cooperative federalism. It is very much important, especially to deal with these emerging threats. And here this Home Minister, who mainly laid some emphasis on the effective cooperation among all the states to control organized crime. Okay, so here Home Minister, he mainly laid some emphasis on an effective cooperation among all states to control this organized crime. So we are talking about facts regarding the zonal councils. So these zonal councils, they are statutory and they are not the constitutional bodies. So this is very, very important prelims fact. And under which act we came up with these zonal councils, then you have to know about this as well. Next, first one here is States Reorganization Act of 1956. So under the States Reorganization Act of 1956, we only came up with, let me draw the map here, then you will be getting some clarity. We came with northern, we came with central, eastern, western and as well as southern, only 5. But later on we also came up with this Northeastern Zonal Council also. But this Northeastern Zonal Council, which is not from this act, that is State Reorganization Act. But we had Northeastern Council Act of 1971. Under this act we came with this Northeastern Council. So you will be also have one question like, so on which basis we will be coming up with setting up of this zonal councils. First one here is, we need to focus on natural divisions of the country. We need to focus on river systems and the means of communication, culture and linguistic affinity. So these are some important characteristics. And if you are talking about Northern Zonal Council, so which are the states part of it? So we have Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab, Rajasthan, NCT, okay, National Capital Territory of Delhi and Union Territory of Chandigarh. So what are the objectives for behind the creation of this zonal councils? So first one is, we need to bring out national integration. So we need to arrest the growth of acute state consciousness, religionism, lingualism and particularistic tendencies. So we need to control them, and there is a need of proper cooperation coordination. So it will be very much helpful for exchanging of ideas and as well as experiences. And this one is, we need to also establish the climate of cooperation between the states and as well as center. So here in this area, so this will be very much useful. And let us try to see one more prelims question which happened this year 2013. So which of the following bodies do not find mention in constitution? That means it is asking about non-constitutional bodies. So first one is National Development Council, yes. Planning Commission, yes. And Zonal Council, yes. So all these, that is answer D is correct answer. Option D is correct answer. So now let us try to see the last topic of the day, that is glaciers in Dras or receding fast, say study. So it is about glacier retreat. So what happened, for example, let us take this as a glacier. So after some years of time, so because of this increasing of temperature, global warming and as well as climate change, so the size of this glacier is mainly decreasing, so this is called as retreat. So this topic is important from your environment and ecology, which mainly comes under your GS paper 3. And now let us try to talk about this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that the decadal pace at which glaciers are receding in the Dras region, it is a key battleground in Ladakh during 1999 Kargil War. So during this 1999 Kargil War, so here what happened? So from that time onwards, we are seeing there is a great retreat to these Himalayan glaciers. That means there is decreasing of size of these Himalayan glaciers. We can say melting of these Himalayan glaciers at a faster pace. And if you are talking about details, it mainly says that a recent study which mainly attributes this to the growing vehicular traffic in the region, which has been giving a massive military build-up on both sides of line of actual control since 2020. So recent study which mainly says that there is increasing of vehicular traffic in the region, and because of this increasing of vehicular traffic in this region, so from the vehicles we will be seeing the smoke will be released. In that smoke we will be having this BC, that is black carbon. So whenever this black carbon which is mainly settling on this glacier, means as you all know that black body will be absorbing lot of amount of heat. So because of this black carbon which is mainly settled on this glaciers, so it will start receiving lot of amount of insolation. So because of this area will be getting heated up fastly. So because of this high intensity of heat in this region, that will also leads to melting of these glaciers as well. And the study which mainly published by the journal Environmental Science and Pollution Research, which is mainly based on satellite images of 77 glaciers which made absorbed over 2 decades. So that is from 2000 to 2020 in this Dras basin of Western Himalayas. So we are seeing that 77 glaciers had been studied. So here this study which mainly says that glacier area which mainly decreased from 176 to 171, that is from 2000 to 2020, and we can see there is about 3% of decreasing of this total glacial area. Next one is the pace of this glacial recession, which mainly varies greatly among the glaciers from 0.24 to 15%, and analysis which mainly shows that glaciers at lower elevation, they receded by 4.1%. And the study which also found that heavy vehicular movement is also one of the important reason for the melting of these glaciers. And even because of this increasing of this black carbon concentration, which also led to melting of glaciers. And from 1980 to 2020, black carbon concentration which has increased significantly from 338 nanogram per cubic meter in 1984 to 634 nanogram per meter in 2020. And if you are talking about because of this increasing of this black carbon concentration due to the proximity to the national highway, which has some significant impact on the glacier health as well, right? So here the what can be done. So we need to focus on this climate change issues, right? So and we need to focus on even what will be the impact of this regional water supplies and as well as hydrological processes, ecosystem services, etc. So let me know what can be the steps that can be taken mainly to control this melting of these glaciers in the comment box. Okay, so you have to write some comments in the comment box for sure. And now let us try to see the yesterday's questions. The first question is regarding town planning. So most Harappan towns had a remarkable unity of conception in town planning. So which of the following is or true regarding this town planning? So it is talking about Citadel and as well as Lower City. So Citadel was built on the high podium of mud brick located on the east side of the settlement. Yes. Next one is Lower City, which is mainly contained residential area of rural and poor. So this is our Citadel and this is the city here. So in this city we will be having especially rural people and as well as poor people. So these two statements are correct. That is both 1 and 2. And next question is regarding whether it is which age. So consider the following statements: grinding and polishing of stone tools and manufacturing of pottery. So mixed economy based on early farming and domestication of animals supplemented by hunting. Next one, which of the following or the best describes the characteristics? That is Neolithic stage. That is option C is correct answer. And the next question here is today's practice questions. The first one is Amaravati School of Art and second one is Buddhist rock cut architecture. So please try to give the answer for these two questions for sure. Okay, so now let us try to see a small announcement. We in Rathod says we came up with this mains answer writing practice and the registrations are going to close today by. Now let us try to see today's Hindu newspaper PDF as usual. So this is our today's Hindu, that is July 10th and this is Delhi edition. So first article, it is regarding ahead of FATF visit, Pak doubles efforts. So this article which is mainly talking about FATF, that is Financial Action Task Force. Here Pakistan, which mainly enters the final stages of the efforts to taken off from this Financial Action Task Force grey list. So for this it is mainly doing some efforts mainly to remove its name from this grey list of this FATF. So once this meeting is done, then we are going to have number of articles in our editorials. Then we are going to discuss there. Next one is 15 bodies retrieved from Amarnath flood site. So this is one of the tragic event that we can see. So after 3 years we came up with this yatra, but in this yatra because of flash floods it mainly led to the death of number of peoples. And next one is tribal women. I discussed this topic. I discussed regarding this topic of red panda. And if you move forward, you can leave these pages, that is nothing much important, and you can directly move to the state space, that is page number 5. So here there is one article regarding this Gaganyaan. So Gaganyaan test vehicle launch for crew for abort mission this year. So this article is mainly talking about this Gaganyaan mission. So this is a mission of ISRO. So here you have to know some facts regarding what is this Gaganyaan. And this one is Tripura to bring back schools dropout. So actually here because of this COVID-19 pandemic, because of the shutdown of the schools, colleges, etc., that led to increasing the number of dropouts either in schools, colleges, etc. So this article is mainly talking about school dropouts. So here Tripura government which mainly decided to restart the Vidyalaya, okay, Vidyalaya Chalo Abhiyan. So it is mainly focusing on to bring back the dropouts. And if you move further in this page number 6, you can see one article that is regarding water level rising in the rivers in Kerala. So you have to see which of the rivers are mainly flowing in Kerala. That is, for example, you can talk about Idukki, Kozhikode and as well as Wayanad. So actually you know that Idukki, which is much more prone to the floods here. Okay, we have to take the measures before itself. And if you move forward here, you can see ancient Buddhist site finally in focus. So this article is mainly talking about excavated antiquities lying in an open area for the last 20 years. Okay, and we have to take care about that. And if you're talking about 7th page, so you can have this article that is Northern Zonal Council. Okay, I discussed this topic. And if you move forward here, you can see on this page number 8. So Gujarat forms a panel to fix quota for local body pools. So this is also very important. And if you move forward here, you can see artificial diet and feeding devices for mosquitoes. So ICMR Vector Control Research Center, which mainly filed a patent applications for 2 of its unique products, and these products are, the first one is artificial diet and feeding device for the mosquito, okay, which are mainly reared in this laboratory. So here this article is important. And if you move forward here, you can see glaciers in Dras are recording fast saying the study. I discussed this topic. And if you move forward in this 10th page, there is nothing much important. And here in this 11th page, we can see some articles regarding the science and technology. The first one here is asymptomatic monkeypox cases. So here what happened, even though this virus which is mainly present in our body, so we do not have shown some proper signs and symptoms, that is called as asymptomatic. So here monkeypox is considered as one of the important and deadliest disease which mainly transmitted by the close contact, the people to people have some symptomatic infection. So but the study says that there are 3 men who are mainly tested positive for the monkeypox without any symptoms. And if you see here, none of them, they are mainly showing any symptoms of this monkeypox. So this is the first article. Next one here, it is regarding easy learning for children with ASD using robotics. So this is also one of the innovation that I can say. And if you move forward, here you can see who is responsible for this Manipur's landslide. So I discussed this topic, and you can go to this article and you can easily understand that. So these are some important articles that appeared in our Hindu newspaper. So I hope you enjoyed this lecture. So for this day, so please try to adjust my video. Okay. So by this I am concluding. Thank you so much.